Jenn Brown competed on the 30th season of Worlds Apart, where she finished in 9th place. Forming several early bonds on the no-collar tribe, she found herself in a strong position heading into the merge. However, after losing Alliance members Joe and Hayley, she struggled to keep her head in the game and was voted out to join the jury. I spoke to Jenn about her true thoughts on most of her cast members, finding idols made of poop, as well as talking up her love for Greg Buis and all things to do with the legend that is Kate. Jenn, welcome to Survivor Oz.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure, Jenn, to have you here because we're actually talking to you from the beautiful Caribbean as well, I believe. So we've got you in a bit of a paradise at the moment. I feel bad for interrupting your time away there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I live here now, so I'm kind of used to it, but it is pretty nice. You know, I'm looking out my window. There's a bunch of boats, some mountains, some birds, some ocean. It's really nice. Right. I went scuba diving today with some sharks and on a wreck. That was cool and terrifying. So, yeah.
Sounds like a pretty hard life. Not bad here. Pretty hard life, then.
Yeah, it's very hard.
Yeah. While a lot of people might be listening to this in their office windows, looking outside, wishing they were seeing all that at the moment. So, what brought about the move to the Caribbean? Just something you've always wanted to do?
I work on a boat out here. We do sailing charters. So I live on a boat and take rich people around on said boat. And then that.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you get recognized from being on Survivor then? Do you have rich Survivor fans going out that way?
Yeah, I have had a couple. I've actually, overseas, I'm usually not recognized at all, but in the States I am. And if we have American passengers, you know, it happens. People find out.
I could imagine that it's almost a good thing then. Hey, you're on Survivor. You might know a little bit more being on this boat.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, they never know who I am. They always just recognize me. They're like, why do I know you? And I'm always like, I don't know. And then I just walk away. But then I feel like a dick when they find out like an hour later. They're like, oh my God, you're on Survivor. Why didn't you tell me? And I'm like, because I'm not a dick. So
you're not just wearing the Survivor logo.
Because I've seen it happen. I'm not going to say to who. Yeah, exactly. Like I... one guy from our season, I'm not going to name any names, but it's obvious who it is. Someone was like, why are you so familiar? And he was like, oh, I was on Survivor. And the person was like, no, I've never seen that show. What is it? And the guy just like looked like a dick, and it turns out he just knew one of them from a bar or something.
Wow.
It was the best. It was the best day. I loved it.
Yep. Well, people can fill in the gaps with that one there, maybe, Jenn. We won't press the matter with that one. But obviously been a few months since your season's all wrapped up. I mean, we're only a couple of days really now away from season 31. But I'd be interested to know...
Oh, shit. I forgot about that.
Yeah. There is another one coming up, Jenn. Did you know that?
No, I forgot that the show continued on after our season. I thought they did 30 and then they were done.
Yeah, well, they were going to, but they thought, well, we should try and work out how to bring Shirin and Joe back. And we might just make another season around that. So
they just really wanted to see how much more Joe they could get on screen, like to fuel 14-year-old girl boners. So,
well, it's certainly fueling that hard. I feel, no pun intended. They're getting excited. So, but
good for them.
For your time on the show, I mean, did you apply to be on Survivor? Were you recruited? How did it all come about?
Yeah, I applied. I mean, I always watched Survivor. I mean, I guess that's kind of a good thing that Joe's bringing in the 14-year-old girls, because, hell, that's what attracted me to the show. Once the first couple seasons were done, you know, Ozzy came about, and I was like, oh, my God, Ozzy's so hot. I'm going to watch this show. So I guess that's kind of what re-sparked the thing. However, I met Ozzy the other day. He had no clue who I was, and I didn't say anything to him. Wow. It was really awkward.
Wow.
Anyway, I applied to be on the show and sent in like a 20-second video about 2 years ago and got a call about 30 minutes after I sent in the video. So they're constantly checking it. So if people don't really get contacted in the first week, I feel like you should just retry, you know, because they didn't like what they saw, I'm guessing. Mm-hmm. But I didn't. Yeah, I applied, and they called me, and then it was like a year-long process and videos, and I was supposed to be on Blood versus Water 2 with my dad, and they said no, that didn't work. so then I stopped watching the show because I was bitter. So I've actually never seen season 28.
Wow.
Which everyone says is like the best season. Yeah, I know. And it's sad because I'm like friends with like a lot of people from 28. And they're always like, oh yeah, and then when this happened, I'm like, yeah, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I never saw your season. Sorry.
So what happened there with your dad? They just cut you? Was there any particular reason why you didn't make that cast?
I have no clue. I mean, probably just because all my videos sucked ass. My first video was really good, apparently, because it was short, but then my next couple of videos were just like, they were the worst things I've ever seen, let alone them. So that's probably why they didn't want me. I mean, they wanted Sierra and her dad for 29 too, but I'm glad we weren't on it because 29 was, I would not want to have been on that cast. Probably would have murdered some people. Like, my cast was very chill.
Yeah.
I didn't mind them at all. But yeah, I forgot what we were talking about.
It happens a lot in these interviews. Jen, like, trust me, we'll end up talking about world politics or, back to the boat or something like that. So it's fine. I mean, that's interesting because I think there was a couple of people from your season, as you just mentioned, Sierra, that were initially, I think, on the cast for season 29. So could have been a completely different season, who would have replaced the ones that if you were on that season, we wouldn't have had Jen and Haley. With Joe, you wouldn't have got to hang out with the no-calls. No Vince. You wouldn't have met Vince, Jen.
Oh, God. Oh, no. The tragedy that my life would be now. What would I be doing without my long-lost first love?
That's why you've left the country. That's why you've gone to the Caribbean. It's the Vince situation.
Yeah, at first I thought he'd be here waiting for me, but then I realized I was just running away from him and his patchouli.
He's not just stalking you still.
No. Probably. Hell. Fuck. I have no idea where he is. I don't want to know. I think Tyler was supposed to be on season 27. I wish he was. Tyler's such a twat. God.
I feel like I should just go through everybody's name on your cast there at the moment, Jen, and we'll see how the opinions go on that one. Actually, we've got Twat and Vince and unnamed individual from before. So we're nearly about a quarter away through the cast at the moment. So we're doing well.
Yeah, we're getting there.
We are. Do you go into the season with any strategy or any sort of plans, or do you just sort of want to take it how it comes on that first day?
My main strategy was not to be the first person voted out because that's embarrassing as shit. After that, I didn't care. Mm-hmm. Like, I was like, oh my God, I'm not the first out. Sweet. Let's just see how far you make it now. And then, like, my next goal was kind of like, win a challenge. And then my next goal was, like, once I did that, I was like, oh, okay, well, what can you do next? Oh, make it to the merge. Cool. Next, make it to the jury because those two aren't exclusive. And make it to the jury, and that's cool. And then it was like the last thing that I really wanted to do, not win, because like that was not even on my radar, was to make it to the Survivor auction. Mm-hmm. That's what I wanted to do because the Survivor auction, like, I care about that so much. It's stupid. Like, I get really excited when it comes on TV, like all the previous seasons. I'm like, holy shit, it's the auction. What are they going to get? And it's like the best episode ever. Unfortunately, our episode sucked dick because it was all about Will blowing up on Shireen and Mike with the auction and the thing. And I was drunk when it happened, so I don't really know what the fuck happened. I don't really care because Dan got it and Dan's fucking Dan. So obviously he got himself voted out with it, which was fucking epic. So that kind of ruined the episode for me. And then I went home, which was cool. I didn't want to make it to the family visit because I didn't want my dad to be out there and be in those conditions and meet those people. So, which, I mean, he's met all of them now except for Dan. And, Mike was at my house the other day when I got home, like, to Texas.
Oh, really?
He hangs out with my parents.
Wow,
yeah.
Wow.
They're close. I mean, they live like 20 minutes away from each other.
Oh, fantastic. Wow. And I'm guessing, were you expecting that? You just rock home? Oh, Mike's here. Hello, Mike.
Yeah, not really. I mean, I just kind of assume it, though, because they're close and, my brother and him hang out, my parents and him hang out. He's a nice guy.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic. I don't think I've ever heard that before, sort of another contestant hanging out with the parents. That's kind of cool. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, him and his mom come over to my parents' house all the time. I mean, Mike's almost 40, My parents are late 50s, 60s. They're Mike hangs out with me, my brother, my parents. It's like a family now,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Wow, fantastic. You're going to come and visit you out there in the Caribbean? Any plans for him to come down and see you?
Yeah, actually, we were trying to get a big reunion in 2 weeks now. Because I'm in the BVI right now, but I'll be going down to Trinidad in a couple days to get the boat and sail it up to the BVI.
Mm-hmm.
But we were going to be in Grenada for 2 weeks of that.
Right.
And they were all supposed to come to Grenada, but then this work permit thing is taking forever. It's really boring shit, but it didn't work out, and I'm really bummed. And they could come to the BVI, but starting in November, I don't have a day off till June.
Wow.
So I don't think it'd be very fun for them.
No. Wow.
It'd be sail by them and be like, "Hey guys, bye."
Just put them on every single tour that you run. That's their way of seeing you, for hanging out with you a bit. Or they just go hang out with your parents, maybe. Just go hang out with Mike and the crew,
Yeah, they could. Hell, they all did. We were in Texas 2 weeks ago, and everyone was there. Me, Sierra, Joe, Joe's mom, Tyler. Tyler's super awesome wife. I don't know how he got her. She's the best.
Mm-hmm.
And then
no Dan or Vince.
Believe it or not, they weren't invited.
Oh, okay.
That's crazy.
Bit of a shock, I think.
I know. We invited Tyler's wife, and Tyler just came with her. We're trying we love Tyler's wife. Jess is awesome, but Tyler keeps showing up wherever she is, which is unfortunate.
Oh, gee. If only she was on the show rather than Tyler, it would have been
right? Actually, he was supposed to do Blood versus Water. They wanted him for it, and he asked his wife. She was like, "Fuck no." It makes me like her even more.
There you go. Wow. Well, obviously the interesting thing about your season, the 3-tribe split, no collar, white collar, blue collar, you're on no collar.
Every single theme is just a theme.
Just a
it's
theme?
shoved down your throat the whole time.
Not a fan of it?
Fuck, Tyler was supposed to be on our tribe before, right when we got to Nika, they changed it up.
Mm-hmm.
So
what was it? What was it changed up from? Do you know?
Yeah, Tyler's supposed to be on our tribe. Will wasn't on the cast, and then on White Collar, I forget his name, but it's some football player for the Bears.
Oh.
Was supposed to come. Last minute, he bailed out. They sent Tyler to the mall to buy all of his clothes, but now in yellow. They contacted Will, who had literally never seen an episode of Survivor in his life. He was supposed to be on Amazing Race with his wife, Manifa. Mm. So he had already had all the medical checks, all the clearances, everything that you have to do to get on Survivor. He had already done them. So basically they called cast and they were like, "We need a black dude that is ready to go right now because our one black guy got taken off."
Wow.
So they sent us Will, which was cool. I like Will. I think he's great.
Yeah, that's fascinating. One thing I will say, it doesn't surprise me that he hasn't seen an episode. No offense to Will, of course.
No, not at all.
I'm a big Will fan too, but yeah, that's the first I've heard of that. So again, dynamics of your season different completely. And did you meet the guy that sort of pulled out at the last moment? Did any of you have any interactions with him?
No, he didn't even show up in Miami when we all left.
Ah.
I think they found out the day we all flew to Miami that he wasn't coming.
Right. Wow.
Something like that. Yeah, and then they all kind of panicked.
Gee.
Just fun.
They've had a bit of bad luck recently with people not being able to play at the last minute. It happened on San Juan del Sur, happened on Blood vs. Water. Goodness me, CBS.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, far out. So how do you think Tyler then would have gone on no collar? That would have been interesting.
Oh, God. Wait, who did we have? We had Joe, Vincent. Yeah, Tyler. Man, I don't know. Tyler, I probably would have gone the same. Vince would have gone first, Nina second. And then I don't know, if we had won some stuff, lost some stuff. But I think our first two boots would have been the same. Mm-hmm. I don't really know. And Tyler's personality might have changed, too. Mm-hmm. Not sure. Because what you saw there, that wasn't him at all.
Well, I was going to say, I doubt very much we have Tyler blowing up at Shirin later on in the game as well. I don't know if that would have happened.
No, Tyler doesn't speak.
Tyler doesn't
when
speak.
He's out there. I heard him say maybe 2 sentences the entire time I was on the island the island. Fuck, when people call it the island, it drives me crazy. I'm like, hey, guess what? Nicaragua's not a fucking island. It's a landmass. It's attached to 2 other land masses. Yeah. They're called fucking Guatemala and Costa Rica, but whatever. I don't think he, when he was out there, he never talked, but then, the second he got to Ponderosa, he was, this crazy, loud personality, and I was like, where the fuck did this come from? It was really weird.
Wow.
Yeah. If he gets really drunk, he like especially when we're at charity events and like we're all in hotel rooms, like Sierra and I always room together, maybe Joe sometimes, but Tyler will somehow find a way into our room. We always like try to lock the doors, but like someone will let him in, like Mike or Joe, because I think it's funny. And he like crawls around on all fours around the room and just terrorizes us and makes like pterodactyl noises in the dark. He's such a dick.
Wow. Meanwhile, you're hanging out with his wife, and she's going, "Yep, I'm married to him."
Yeah, she's like, that's just Tyler. He's had some wine. We're like, great.
Turns into a pterodactyl.
Yeah.
Well, there's a video series here, Jed. I just want the Dirty 30 to film these antics, and I mean, there's a reality show in itself.
The fact that no one ever got to see the music video we made is just probably a fucking good thing, actually.
I think I've heard about this. I think what exactly was this song about?
All right, well, here's the setting. Haley Ford she'll wake up at like 3, 4 a.m. I love Haley, by the way. She'll be the maid of honor at my wedding. She's one of the best people on the planet. I love her. But she wakes up at like 4 a.m. and just starts working, like law school work, whatever she has to get done, she does it right then and she gets it done until it's done. So she had been alone at Ponderosa for like 3.5 days, and then Joe showed up and fueled whatever was going on, and that was for another 3 days. So by the time I show up, it's been about a week that she's been here and has had access to the app GarageBand, a microphone and a guitar, and she has written this song called America. And this song proceeds to take over her Ponderosa life for the next till the game's done, basically.
Wow. So
she'd be up, like we shared a room, and she'd be up at like fucking 5 a.m. like writing this song and recording it. And like I know how to use GarageBand. I've used it before. It's a simple concept, but instead of like if she messed up one section of the song, she would redo the whole song instead of just like redoing that little section. She like had to do it all in one take. I was like, hey, Haley, stop fucking doing that. Like, just redo this little section. It's like literally 2 weeks it takes her to record this one song. And it's fucking terrible. Like, not that like her singing's bad or her guitar's bad. It's just the lyrics are the worst thing. But they're so funny, and like to this day, the stupid song still gets stuck in my head. So we get bored. Shireen shows up after a while, and then we're like, oh my god, remember the Dragons music video? We need to make a music video. So Adrian, the producer that's at Ponderosa with us and makes all the Pondy episodes, was like, all right, guys, whatever you want to do, I'll film it. So we spent like, there's like everyone, and as new people keep arriving, like Tyler shows up and Dan shows up, and Dan's not involved in it except for one part where he somehow managed to make it worse. And then Sierra shows up, and there's this one fucking scene that I wish everyone could see, because we made it, like, one of the lyrics was about crabs and like how they pinch you and stuff and like walk around all stupid. And there's a scene where it's just like a shot of the pool and the pool deck, and there's nothing, and then you see all 7 of us just pop up and start crabbing around. And it's the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen, because we all look so stupid and we're all fucking hammered, you know, because I don't think anyone was sober at any point at Ponderosa. It was just the best.
Wow.
It was the best. I just did the crab motion as I talked about it.
I was thinking about it, like, you know, the crab motion there. So was there ever any reason given why they didn't, like, because they did that with the Dragons on Heroes Villains. They put that up as a sort of an extra video for people to watch. Like, why didn't we get to see the crab walking?
I'm pretty sure that Adrian was like, this will never see the light of day. It will take down any credibility I will ever have as a producer if this sees the light of day. And we were like, yeah, probably.
Jeff saw it, let's be honest. And he's like, that's not going out there. No way.
Probably. Fuck, just like he found out at the finale Joe was going to propose to me, and Jeff caught wind of it and said no. He was like, don't make a mockery of the show.
Oh, come on.
We were like, but it'd be so funny.
It worked for Rob and Amber, like, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, but then again, Joe and I, I feel like Rob and Amber were in love. Joe and I are in love, but that's a different kind of love.
Well, you were saying that you were drawn to Survivor because of Aussie. I mean, you must have just been wetting your pants on day one when you saw Joe.
Oh my God, did you see Joe on day one?
Yes, I think.
Okay.
I think we all were 14-year-old girls at that point.
No, I was saying like Joe looks like he might have been something else. He had gel in his hair, man. I was like, and he had a baby face. I was like, sweetie, you need to get some facial hair. Maybe get a man bun. Change up what we're seeing here.
So you're the reason then why he turned into what he did.
I'm just gonna say, Haley Ford and I will take full credit for his current hotness.
There you go. There you go. All the 14-year-old girls listening, please send a thank you message to Jen and Haley. It's only appropriate. Can you give us any of the song at all, Jen? Are you willing to give us a bit of singing or not really?
The chorus was something along the lines of America, tribe America, and that's all I'll give you. But the verses were just fucking, yeah, they're all like just about every person that was on the cast.
Brilliant.
Like, yeah, so one was about Nina's poop idol, one was like about Max putting his foot in the drinking water with his wart, like it was just the whole thing.
Wow.
And like the end was like, God bless Jeff Probst in America or something, and it was just a fucking nightmare.
Oh, it's going to come out one day. We
now refer to it as Nightmarica, actually.
Nightmare, okay, right. There we go. So if we ever see Nightmare video out there, we need to watch it because somehow the footage has leaked.
Yes, somehow footage has leaked.
It's gotten out there. You mentioned Poop Idol. Now, look, I saw your AMA the other day, Jen, and you were sharing a bit about some crazy Vince stories. Now, I'd love for you to particularly share the Poop Idol moment, because I was fascinated reading some of these Vince moments that we never got to see, because we thought he was crazy from what we saw, but it sounded like we just didn't see any of it.
Yeah, they never showed any of it. I don't know why. I mean, probably because it doesn't really add anything to the story whatsoever, except for pure entertainment. And apparently in the past couple years, I've noticed Survivor's taken more of a turn away from like fun, kooky stories to more like strategy, eat the strategy, And I don't like that. I like seeing people have more fun out there, But yeah, so one day, here's the whole story. I was actually going to upload this to Reddit, like in video form, but I don't really understand how YouTube works, and I don't want to, and I don't want a fucking YouTube channel. Like, that's just too much shit, so I'm not doing it. Even though, like, I got, like, after I said I'd post a video, like, 30 fucking people sent me messages like, oh, here's how you do it. I'm like, yeah, I get how to fucking do it. I just don't want to. Like, it's too hard. Like, I'm not going to sit down, record a stupid-ass video of myself, and then upload it for, like, 5 people's viewing pleasure. No, I don't care enough. So here's what happened. I can just tell you now.
Yes.
Now, everyone's been running around, like, looking for the idol, whatever, and Nina has excluded herself from the group entirely. She doesn't talk to anyone. She doesn't even try to be a part of a group, which was a part of her whole, like, the girls exclude me, which was bullshit. BT dubs, we invited everyone to go skinny dipping with us. Everyone.
Right.
And she just she took that as not personally inviting her. I don't fucking know. That was such a ridiculous day. I didn't even feel bad. I was just like, this is stupid. But that's neither here nor there. Nina and I are fine now. She just, yeah. Anyway, so Nina's like off by herself all the time. And then there's one day we noticed she's like, oh, it's before we're going to tribal, like 2 days before. So, and we figured we'd probably lose the next challenge. Like, it was just kind of we kind of wanted to get rid of Vince or Nina. Actually, wanted to get rid of, I don't really remember. It was a fucking year ago. Whatever. This is pointless. Sorry, I'm not good at non-live interviews because I'm just like, I don't have a time limit, so I just fucking talk.
You are doing fine, Jen. This is perfect.
God, how bad was Dan's, though? Fucking 4 hours? Did you just, like, turn off your microphone and walk away for a while?
Yeah, I actually did some washing, watched a couple of episodes of your season.
Dude, I can't even imagine. When you said it was 4 hours long, I was like, no fucking way did anyone listen to all 4 hours of that. Except for one guy on Reddit who posted like a too long didn't listen thing.
Right.
And everything I read on that was just so insane.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just delusional, like living in his own fucking like world where he was the hero of the show, and like everything that he thought happened that way. It's like, homie, that's not how that happened. Yeah, but it was fun to read. Anyway, what are we talking about? Nina's poop idol.
Yes.
Okay. So we notice Nina's running around with her bag. She's like keeping her bag on her at all times. And we're like, oh, that's suspicious. I mean, it was overly suspicious, so we knew she probably didn't have it, you know? But we were bored as fuck because Survivor is boring as fuck, if no one has told you. Like, it's the most boring thing I've ever done in my life. Like, besides the challenges and stuff, you just sit there for like 12 hours a day, just doing nothing. It's awful. Anyway, so we're bored, and I'm like, hey, we should go through Nina's bag and see if she has see if she has an idol. And they're like, yeah, we totally should. But so we're like, it's like just a fun game, you know? Just like trying to find Will's hidden food was just a fucking game. And so we're like kind of like following her around, you know, waiting for her to leave her bag unattended. And then finally at night, she goes to sleep, and we're like, all right, well, obviously now we're going to do it because you're fucking sleeping. So we go through her bag, and like we're trying to do it fast, you know? And it's me and Haley, and I reach, like, I'm feeling around her bag, and, like, I know what's in there. There's, like, her cochlear implant stuff, like, her clothes, and then I feel something that feels like a leaf, and I was like, oh, my God, no fucking way. And I grab it, and there's, like, a banana leaf wrapped and, like, tied with rope or, like, with a vine, and it feels round, and I was like, oh, my God, like, she has a fucking idol. No fucking way. She has an idol. I can't believe she found an idol. So I hand it to Haley. I was like, Haley, go fucking hide it. And so Haley, like, runs off into the woods and hides it. And then we're like, okay, we'll go check it in the morning when there's light, because obviously there's no light at night. And we're like, all right, cool. So we go to sleep. I wake up the next morning. Joe and Haley are already up. Nina's up and walking around. And so I'm like, oh, fuck, I hope they returned whatever it was. So I walk over to Joe, and I was like, Joe, guess what? He's like, what? And I was like, Nina has an idol. And he was like, no, that's shit. And I was like, no, Nina has an idol. We found it. Haley and I found it. He was like, oh, no, I know. Me and Haley looked at it this morning. It's shit. It's a piece of poop. She wrapped up a cow patty. And I was like, what? And I lost my fucking mind. I was crying. I was laughing so hard. The fact that she had wrapped up a cow patty and like put it in a banana leaf. And I'm just like, oh, holy shit, this is fucking amazing.
Wow.
And yeah, and so we found out Nina didn't have an idol. She had poop. And that was the funniest thing. That is hands down the funniest thing that happened the entire time I was out there.
Wow.
And it was just the best. And, you know, I asked Vince about it. I was like, hey, Vince, like, why the fuck did you wrap up shit? And he was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And then I talked to Nina. She, like, sent me a message. She was like, hey, I saw on your AMA you said something about a poop idol. What are you talking about? And I was like, yeah, man, the idol Vince gave you was poop. And she was like, dude, Vince didn't give me an idol. Like, I wrapped up a rock in a banana leaf. And I was like, homie, you wrapped up a piece of shit. We all saw it. Like, that was a cow patty. That wasn't a rock. So I don't know if she knew that it was shit or not, or how long she had been carrying around a piece of shit in her bag. But it's like, it was poop.
Wow.
She had poop in her.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So,
it only would have been better if like she had to try to play it and Jeff Probst has had to look at it.
Like, man, hey, Probst, here's a piece of shit.
I could have imagined at that point he would have stopped the cameras and just been like, what the fuck is this? What are you trying to do to me?
Probably, hell. Like, him and I did get into some off-camera scuffles to begin with. I'm sure he would have stopped rolling, because he knows who has an idol. He knows what's going on at Tribals before we even get there, you know? So he would have been like, the fuck are you doing here?
Giving me shit? Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, so Vince denies it, so then Nina didn't know anything about it. Wow. It's like...
Yeah, so it's like, that's the thing. I was hoping the mystery would be solved, and it's never been solved.
Right.
It's just like, how did poop end up in there? What happened? Why was poop in there? Why was poop the choice?
Wow. Well, we know in the new season that they're meant to be having idols, some that look like they're handmade and some that just look like literally crap.
Yeah,
so maybe
hidden in challenges.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So hopefully somebody doesn't like take a shit in the middle of a challenge and go, oh, an idol.
I wouldn't be surprised, man.
Yes.
I would not be surprised.
Wow, that's incredible. I guess after Nina and Will go, then I mean, how's the dynamic then on No Collar? Is it kind of you four? I mean, well, three with Will. I mean, was it a really tight bond? Did you feel Will was with you at that point?
Oh yeah, fuck, dude. We were so stupid. We didn't realize Will had flipped until Haley got voted out. We were so oblivious. Like, I mean, people give us shit for it all the time. Whatever, we were. He was a decent liar. Hell, we didn't know he was lying till, like, I realized he was reacting the same way when we played Mafia that he was when I was like, who the fuck voted for Haley? And he was like, he got the same reaction. Whatever. No, we were happy, man. I called it Survivor Summer Camp. We went for a week without going to Tribal. We only went to 2 challenges. I was bored as fuck. We were playing so many games. Like, Haley and I went surfing. You know, Will, like, had a birthday, which was awesome. We had a chicken for his birthday. I found an idol. We played bowling. We played weird games. We'd play all these, like, word games all the time to pass the time. And, like, the crew, like, the camera crew, would really want to know, like, what the answer was. Like, it'd be like, I'm starting my own town, and you're allowed to bring yellow balloons, but you're not allowed to bring red balloons. But all balloons are allowed. And everyone's like, the fuck does that mean? So it's basically like double letters are allowed in. You know, like A-L-L, balloon, all that shit. And so we'd be playing, and then, like, afterwards, like, if no one got it, or, like, if we said what the answer was and the camera crew didn't catch it, I remember one time one guy leaned around and he was like, what was it, though? What was it? Because they would, like, be like, oh, my God, what is this, you know? Because we were all, like, we're not doing anything. And I commend, like, the camera crews are awesome. They are busting their asses 24/7, even when we're sitting around, like, talking about how hot production is or, like, how fucking hungry we are. Or, yeah.
Wow. It's good to see them getting involved there a little bit and playing.
Yeah, I mean, they never really talked to us, but, like, they'd be like, what? Can you tell me what it was? Because they were curious, too, because they were just standing there filming it.
Yeah. We often talk about the camera people and that, but I guess, mentioning how sort of long days are and how boring it can be. I mean, sometimes I wonder if the cameramen and the camera women are feeling that way as well. Like, oh, I've got to stand here for 2 hours filming somebody sunbaking or something like that. So,
yeah.
It's
exactly.
feel for them. With the idol you found, I mean, was there more to what we saw on screen when it came to finding this idol? I mean, how long do you reckon it took you to find it?
I mean, I'd been searching for a couple days, but not, like, actually looking, just kind of, like, looking in holes and shit. But once I, like, left, I walked around. There was our camp, and then there was probably 150 yards of just, like, forest, and then the other end of the beach was where the idol was. And I was walking around in that forest for probably, like, 2 hours, just, like, looking at stuff. And it was, like, me and a producer and a camera crew. And they kept, like, asking me, they're like, so do you think you're going to find it? And I'm like, fuck no. It's always in a tree. There's 3,000 trees out here. I'm not going to find this thing. I'm bored as fuck. I'm just doing this to pass the time. And, yeah. So I never thought I would find it until I was, like, climbing around because I was just bored. And then it was in, like, a hole and something, like, there was parchment sticking out. I was like, the fuck is that? And I, like, didn't even realize what it was even when I, like, touched it. I was like, oh, there's like fabric in here. That's cool. And then I pulled it out. I was like, holy shit.
And it's not poop. It's an idol.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't shit this time. Yeah, and then I had to, like, hide it in my pants. Like, I hid that thing in my pants so many times.
Right.
It was ridiculous.
Right.
Yeah.
And then obviously it came in quite handy for you, which we'll get to, no doubt. But with the switch, we mentioned, we talked about Max and his feet in the water, but Shireen and Max target straight away from the switch. They were annoying you, it seemed. I mean, just how annoying were they compared to, again, what we saw on screen? Because in Carolyn's interview, she spoke a little bit more about sort of both what they were like compared to what we actually saw, which I found a little bit interesting.
If they had not been on the same tribe, I think we would have been okay, like, annoying-wise. But because they were both such fanatics and, like, and knew everything about everything, they would feed off each other. You know when you find someone that's, like, really into the same thing you're really into? And you're all the time, you're like, oh my God, and then this, fuck yeah, I love this. Like, if I meet someone who loves cheese, like, we talk about cheese for like 3 hours. But, there's a lot more about Survivor, I guess, that you can talk about for more than 3 hours than there is cheese. But, yeah, the thing was, I don't know if it was that they were that annoying or if it's because we had fucking bliss for a week. And then in comes this fucking storm of just like, holy shit, you have to shut up. Like they didn't, like when we get tree mail, they'd be like, what do you think it is? It could be this, or it could be this, because on day 7 last time, or like 3 seasons ago, or like this and this and this, and then they just like fucking go and go and go. And to me, I was just like, homie, why don't you just wait another 30 fucking minutes till we go to the challenge to see what it is? Like, who cares right now? Who fucking cares? And it was my whole just like apathy towards the game that just, and they cared so much. It drove me up a wall. And actually, I think Shireen was on the block to go home because Will and I were like, no, Shireen's driving us crazy. And so, Shireen, I love Shireen. Then one night, Max took Haley's sleeping board spot and was not apologetic about it. He just stared at us. He laid there and stared because we all had sleeping boards that we like slept on, like big pieces of wood, because sleeping on bamboo is terrible, but sleeping on a piece of wood's not that bad. So like Carolyn had made her own spot. Kelly had like built out the shelter to make her own spot. And the first night we all slept in our respective spots. And then the next night Max was like, hey, so I really think we should change up the sleeping positions because, Shireen and I don't have sleeping boards, and it's really uncomfortable for us, so I think we should all share the sleeping boards. And we were like, fuck no. This is our beach. And Kelly found her own sleeping board. Carolyn found her own sleeping board. You guys can go find your own sleeping boards. You're not going to just take ours. And so we told him no, and then when we go to bed, he's already laying there. Wow. And he thinks, I think that he thought we couldn't see that he was awake and his fucking eyes were open. But we definitely could. And he was just laying there while Haley and I were standing there. We're like, is he fucking serious right now? Is he laying on your sleeping board? And she was like, he's laying on my fucking sleeping board. We just told him not to. And it turned into this thing. And then we're like, hey, Max, we know you're awake. And he leans up. He's like, I just think it's, my turn to sleep on the sleeping board. And Haley and I were like, fine, we'll share one. But you're out next, motherfucker. That's what did it. That's exactly what fucking pushed him to the vote, was that, or at least for me, because before that I was like, Max, we could use the strength. But then I was like, fuck Max. You do not do that.
Wow.
It was just a respect thing,
Yeah.
Just the lack of general respect for each other. I lost my shit. And immediately I was like, yeah, we're getting rid of Max. Fuck Max. So that's why. And I've told him that to this day. And he's like, that's not why. And I'm like, yeah, it definitely is. Definitely is.
Voted out because of a sleeping board. There we go.
Yeah. I saw him last week in Venice. And I reminded him of it. I was like, yeah, that's why, man.
Did you give him a sleeping board? It's sort of like, here you go. Here's a sleeping board. Cost you your time on the game.
Should have.
Were there anybody at that switch, with Carolyn and say Kelly were there close bonds formed or sort of a connection made there that possibly could have been something you could have worked with later in the game?
Hell no. Carolyn, she was awesome to us. She was like a mom, she kept us warm at night. She'd give us hot rocks and shit. She was cool, but I knew that we didn't have her, ever. I knew that going into the merge, she would not be with us at all. And, I was okay with it. I was like, whatever. I kind of knew she was a Tyler. Also, I knew she had an idol. So I was just like, yeah, I'm not going to compete, with another idol. She's going to deny that she has an idol. And she was just very combative towards us a little bit, I feel. Mm-hmm. So I didn't really... Then she really liked Rodney right at the merge, and I really fucking hated Rodney right at the merge. So that made me not like Carolyn because she liked him so much. And then Kelly, we knew she was with the Blues all the way, no matter what. So, yeah.
What was it about Rodney at the merge that you just didn't like?
Rodney had no respect for, anything. He didn't help out around camp. When we had to rebuild the camp, he sat the whole time, didn't do shit, which so did Will, and that's why him and Will were so close. And now I'm like, well, fuck, I probably should have sat around too. Maybe I would have been in their alliance. And then he stole all the food. He would steal the food fucking constantly. He would walk over, when I was cooking, he'd walk over and, pick at stuff. And then we had, one bottle of, Cholula, hot sauce, and he would use half of it on his fucking rice. And we're all there Rodney, that's not cool, man. You gotta stop doing that. And then he started accusing me of stealing the food, which led to, everyone thinking that I was stealing food the whole time, which, granted, I was. But so was everyone fucking else. Me, Sierra, Shireen, fucking Haley. We'd give some to Joe. Like, once we found out Rodney was taking food at night, because Haley, Joe, and I slept around the fire because there was no room in the shelter really, and it was warmer. We slept around the fire, and we would all wake up in the middle of the night because Rodney would be going through the fucking food stash and like chowing down on shit. And I saw him, and I was like, Rodney, fuck. So once he started doing that, we started doing it, and then it led to the whole food stealing debacle, which drove Mike up a wall, which was great.
Right. I could imagine driving Mike up the wall would have come for some interesting reactions from Mike then.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I just like no one ever got mad at me, which was weird because I stirred up so much. I just like caused problems. Like I would just cause but none of them were like alliance problems or like drama problems. I would just like do little things, you know? Like when I was cooking, I would take little bites of the rice to see if it was done, and I could see fire in Rodney's eyes every time I did it, and I was like, yes. Yeah.
Little things around the camp.
Like Mike and Dan both fucking hated salt. They hate salt. So we would put like 4 cups of salt water in the rice. And Mike would still eat it, but he'd be pissed about it. And Dan just wouldn't eat it. Like he just wouldn't fucking eat it, which was the best. So I'd always like oversalt the rice just to make sure they didn't eat because I thought it was funny.
Wow. They don't like salt. Wow, that's interesting.
Right? It like made it taste not as shitty, you know, but whatever.
Yeah. What was your take on Mike then, sort of in those early portions of the merge? I mean, did you like Mike? Did you get along with him at those points?
No, I fucking hated Mike. I couldn't stand Mike until Joe was gone, and then we started. Actually, no. When Joe went on the pizza reward and didn't bring Haley or I, then we were like, fuck Joe. And we went back to camp, and it was me, Mike, Sierra, and Rodney. And honestly, we had the best day. We had so much fun. Like, we cooked like 4 things of rice and beans because we were like, fuck it, they're not here, they won't know. We just hung out. Because at first when we got back, we were like separated. And then I just looked at them. I was like, guys, like, can we just like not do this today? Like, we're obviously not playing the game right now. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. Can we just hang out? And they're like, yeah, we didn't want to do this either and be mean to you guys. Because like, I'd heard Mike a couple times say, don't fucking talk to the no-callers. Don't even look at them. And I was like, fuck you, Mike. And then when we voted out Kelly, when I played my idol, we had talked to Mike because we were trying to get him because, you know, Joe was like, oh, no, we could get Mike. And I'm like, okay, you're fucking stupid, but we tried anyway. And when we talked to him, I was like, yeah, we're getting out Kelly. And he was like, fuck yeah, like, let's do a blindside. I was like, fuck yeah, let's do a blindside. Like, an hour later, I found out that none of that was happening and that they were coming after me or Haley. And then I found out they were coming after me. So I was like, all right, whatever, I'll play my idol. And then once I found all that out, Mike walks by me and he goes, he doesn't know I know any of this. And he's like, hey, Jen, blindside tonight, right? Like, as a dick comment, because he was going to blindside me.
Yeah.
And immediately I was like, fuck this guy. Like, what a dick comment to make. Like, what an asshole. And hell, right then I almost changed all the votes. Like, I would have been like, hey, let's get rid of fucking Mike. But it was too late to wrangle up everyone and like change it all. So I was like, we're sticking with Kelly. Yeah, and that's when I was like, fuck Mike.
That would have been
but
obviously changed the game.
Dude, that was only for like 4 or 5 days that I didn't. No, not even. That was like for 3 days that I didn't like Mike. Because before then I liked him because he had Texas shorts on and I lived in Texas for a while. My parents still do. And then those 3 days I hated Mike. And then after that I liked Mike again. So. And then
at the end, you obviously gave that
speech.
Yeah,
Mike was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, none of the other 2 people deserved it, I don't think. You know? Oh. Will sure as hell didn't deserve it. He didn't deserve to tie with Carolyn. I felt bad for Carolyn. Like, someone else should have voted for Carolyn.
It's interesting because during the season, myself and Noah, of course, who you spoke to help organise this interview, we were huge advocates for Carolyn. And we sort of went into that thinking she had a bit of a chance. When we realised Mike was going to win, we're like, well, hopefully Carolyn will at least get second. And yeah, very. And again, no disrespect to Will in saying this, but it was very disappointed that Carolyn couldn't at least beat Will at that final tribal council. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Haley asked Will at the final. I don't even know if it showed because honestly, I haven't seen like the last 4 episodes of my season. But I don't know if they showed it or not. But I remember Haley's question to Will was like, "Will, can you name me 3 things you have done in this game? Just 3, like anything." and he got like 1.
Wow.
I think maybe 2. Wow. And it was like, yeah, man, you haven't. I mean, he'd never seen the game. I don't blame him at all. Like, he didn't know. Like, he didn't even know what a fucking hidden immunity idol was. So I don't blame him. Like, I just think he's a great dude. He just didn't know what he was doing out there, really. He didn't know the game, which you can't fault him for that. He was thrown into it.
Yeah, well, literally, as you said at the beginning there. So
it's like if someone threw me into The Amazing Race or Big Brother. I've never seen an episode of either. I wouldn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Exactly. Just quickly while we're on that, I mean, with Carolyn, obviously mentioning that you think she should have at least got second. I mean, do you feel her game, did you like the way Carolyn played? Because, I mean, we kind of got Dan's viewpoint on that, and that was obviously a bit different. And then, obviously, we spoke to Carolyn about it. So you're sort of the third person we've had from your season. So it'd be interesting to see your perspective on Carolyn's game and how you thought she played overall.
I mean, honestly, it was so long ago, I don't really remember. And the last thing I ever do in my spare time is think or talk about Survivor, in my season especially. So recalling is going to be a little hard for me. I do remember that she was... The one thing that I thought was one of the worst moves Carolyn made was whenever we tried to get like an all-girls alliance, or whenever we tried to get her to like even consider coming over with us, she would say, absolutely not. I'm never working with Shireen. I don't trust her.
Right.
And I was like, Carolyn, that's the dumbest fucking thing you could ever say in your life in this game. Like, you always just lie and say, yeah, of course. You bullshit people. You don't just off the bat say, nope, not going to do that because of this person. Because then that makes us go, fuck you then, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's all I really remember. Because other than that, like, I don't know. I wasn't paying attention at any of the tribal councils. I was just bored out of my mind. Dude, tribal sucks. It's like an hour and a half, especially on the jury. You're just sitting there. You can't talk. I fell asleep at 2 of them.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, the one where they made the fire, because that took an hour and like 20 minutes. And like that, I fell asleep during that. And then it was weird that I fell asleep like before they had started the fire, and I woke up like as both their fires were going, and I was like, holy shit, what did I miss? And then I don't remember the other one I fell asleep at, but...
Does Jeff notice, or does the producer notice? Like, somebody, like, go, Jeff,
oh, yeah,
wake
I
up.
get in trouble. Yeah, they're like, stop leaning on people, because I'd always lean on Joe's legs.
Wow.
And so they eventually kind of scooted me, so I couldn't do that.
Wow, fascinating. Yeah. Just, I mean, it seemed with your game, because a lot of the portions of the game, people were really talking you up as a possible winner, just kind of sort of in that middle part of the game. But then we see Haley go, as you mentioned, complete blindside, and it just seemed like you gave up. Was that literally it? Did you give up from that point?
No. Okay, here's what happened. I mean, obviously, I was fucking checked out for a bit. Because, I mean, everyone kind of checks out for a bit, except for Joe, who was, like, constantly stoked on everything, which blew my fucking mind. Everyone kind of checks out, whether it be for an hour, for, like, a day. People are like, fuck this game, I want to quit. Mine just lasted for, like, 3 days. And, I mean, Haley leaving obviously sucked, because she was always there. We'd always hang out. Like, she gave me, like, something to do, you know, and got to talk and hang out with her. Once she left, I didn't really have Joe anymore because Joe was off doing some crazy shit all the time. And like Shireen and I weren't super close yet. So I didn't really have anyone to talk to. None of the other alliance would really talk to me, which sucked. And then like I was just fucking bored. I was so bored. So I was like, man, fuck this game. And then I, you know, kind of was talking to one of the producers during an interview, and it's kind of like, is it like, because I had tried everything. I'd been like, okay, let's try Girls Alliance. Let's try this. Let's try this. Let's try this. And I pretty much exhausted all of my resources. Like, I had done everything I could have thought of. And then I was just kind of like, why am I even trying? Like, why don't I just not try and see if that works for me? Mm-hmm. Like, why don't I just say, I don't want to fucking be here? Because who are you going to take to the end? Someone who doesn't give a shit and doesn't want to be there, you know? Like, hell, I would, like Will, like, you knew he wasn't going to win. You could drag me to the end. You knew I wasn't going to win after, like, being like, I quit. I don't want to be here, you know? So I figured at least that'd keep me around, like, longer than, like, Shireen and maybe Mike if he didn't win everything. But then at a certain point, I was like, yeah, no, there's no chance I'm winning, so I don't really give a shit anymore, so I'm going to go hang out at Ponderosa. So that's what I did.
Right. And obviously not in your nature then to actually quit during those 3 days that you checked out?
No, I was never going to quit. I just wanted to. Mm-hmm. It was never even crossed my mind to quit the game. that's like always embarrassing when you see people quit on the show, you know? You're like, oh, come on, get it together. It's fucking 40 days. You're being a pussy. So I was never going to quit. I was never actually going to quit, but I sure as hell voiced my opinion in wanting to quit.
I feel like you need to be a life coach for Survivor contestants and Jen. So, like, if they're going to quit, you can just pop out of the bushes and, like, stop being a pussy. Don't quit. Then just walk away.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, what was it? The one Nicaragua where, like, Purple Kelly and Nayanka quit in, like, the cave?
Yep.
Like one of them had an idol. It was, like, right before, like, 5 people left or some shit, and they were both like, yeah, fuck it. That sucks, but I fucking love that they did that because I think it's hilarious. It's like the biggest like middle finger to all of the show. It's like, fuck it, I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
And they just both bailed. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah. Jeff
man.
not too happy with that situation, so I think they had to change rules or something after that because they were on the jury, and then people were pissed that they were on the jury. They shouldn't be on the jury, so... Yeah, there was a whole...
Yeah, they did. They changed up some rules. I remember one tribal, Jeff, because I don't think Jeff knew that I actually wasn't going to quit, because a couple of times he was like, Jen, why don't you just get up and walk out? Like, walk out of this tribal council, save Joe. And I was like, because I don't want to quit. He's like, well, you're acting like it. I'm like, I don't give a shit what I'm acting like, Jeff. I'm not acting on it. I'm acting like it. So fuck off. Like, shit like that. But I didn't actually tell Jeff to fuck off. I've never done that.
Oh, gee.
But... I know, surprising, right? But what was I talking about? Something. Oh yeah, he was like, "Well, if you walk out, you're not allowed to be on the jury." And I was like, "Well, that's good because I'm not fucking walking out." So I don't know what's your point. Is a thing.
Wow. Yeah. Again, sort of, we often talk about Jeff behind the scenes on these interviews, and again, there's a long running video series of seeing Jeff, how he's really like, and he'll never let that air, of course, but we'd all love to see it.
Yeah, it's great.
It's fascinating.
He's got as bad of a mouth as I do.
Yes, we've heard, actually. There's a question in our final five that we learn a lot about Jeff with. I mean, you mentioned the auction. You mentioned you were drunk through it. So my question here is saying, how good was your rum punch? I'm going to guess it was quite good.
It was. It was like 7 shots of rum. So I go into this auction, and immediately we had like talked beforehand, like if whatever comes up, like if a shower comes up, Sierra fucking gets it. If this comes up, so and so gets a steak, Rodney gets it. And I was like, if there's any booze, I fucking call first dibs. Like, and we all agreed, like, don't bid against each other. Like, if it's something you really want, then do it. But if it's like what we outlined, don't be a dick, you know. So like he says he's got this drink, and before he even shows it, I like bid on it and I run up to get it. And he's like, oh, by the way, it comes with 5 steaks. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to eat that, Jeff. And I just like turned around and walked away. And because like I don't eat meat, and I had tried eating meat earlier and it made me throw up constantly.
Right.
So, so I walked back. So I think that the rum was supposed to come with food to like kind of, you know, balance it out. Mm-hmm. But there were 7 shots of rum in it, and I drank it in about like 10, 11 minutes. And I remember seeing like medical kind of like walk over to some producers and like whisper in their ear and be like, fuck, like. And then when we were on the way back, someone was like, yeah, so pretty sure that was supposed to come with food. You're pretty fucked up right now. And I was like, I am hammered. You know, like I remember like when we got back, I was running around the beach, I was climbing up cliffs. One of the producers, he was like yelling, he was like, get the fuck off the cliff, Jen. I was like, fuck you. It was great because I was just fucking lit. And then I remember when like the whole like mic thing happened, everyone was like yelling and like all this shit was going on, and everyone was like, I don't know what's going on, and Jeff was like, I don't know what's going on, and I was just sitting there like, I am fucking drunk. Why is everyone yelling? This is supposed to be fun. Yeah.
I was about to say, you're not having a clue.
Montage of that. No, I had no fucking clue what was going on. I just loved the whole montage of that scene of like, you every time you see me, I've got like a new umbrella in my hair, you know, and I'm just like constantly drinking. It was fucking hilarious.
So when you get back to Kev, we obviously, well, at least we see the whole Will Shireen situation. Were you sober by the time the whole Will yelling happened?
No, right. Definitely not. We had like gone hunting because I was fucking drunk. I wanted something to do. And when we come back, I just hear Will like screaming down the beach. And I was like, huh, that doesn't sound fun. So I ran away and I ran to the other side of the beach where my cave was, and I went and sat in the cave. And then, so I wasn't there for any of that. And then Shireen came to the cave and she was bawling and she told me what happened. And I was like kind of sobering up, but I still didn't really understand. So I was like, man, that sucks. And then Mike came in and was talking about it. And then like I was like sober at that point. I was just like, holy, wait, what? He did what? And then it like turned into a whole fucking thing.
Yeah, I was going to say all these heated things are happening, and the whole time you're just sobering up, like going, dude, come on, just stop yelling. Yeah. Give me some bacon.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Wow, fascinating. You went home next then, Jen, so you got to keep drinking.
I was so stoked.
You get to keep drinking for the rest of the game, so it was only a day of being sober, and then you're back into it.
Yeah,
and
it was great.
Obviously, Ponderosa, you mentioned, sounded like a lot of fun. I mean, what was the sort of the reaction and the reception to you when you did arrive at Ponderosa?
It was the best. Haley and Joe were standing there waiting for me. Haley had a bottle of Jack Daniels. Joe had made me a crown. There was Oreos and Nutella and ice cream and just fucking everything. And I was in heaven. And like there was beer and wine and just all the types of food. And there was a shower and it was just fucking great. And I saw myself in a mirror and my eyebrows were like looked like fucking Frida Kahlo or whatever. It was great.
Fantastic. And we mentioned obviously the final tribal council, but after the final tribal council, when everything had gone down and obviously they wrap up and you all sort of get a chance to catch up with Mike, Will and Carolyn, I mean, how was kind of all that initial meeting and obviously with the emotions from final tribal council, and was there a big party afterwards then to sort of calm everybody down?
Yeah, there was a big party. Everyone comes back. I mean, we had come back, and then the final three were still at Tribal for a bit, so we were all back, and we were fucking partying, except for Rodney, he was throwing up still. And then they, like, all showed up, and by the time they showed up, we were already, like, kind of, like, getting pretty lit. And we didn't actually go to sleep that night, I don't think. I know Mike and Joe didn't. I think I had, like, 20 minutes of sleep before we had to get on the bus to take us back. But it was a great night. We were dancing and just everything. It was wonderful.
And what was it sort of in the lead up to your season airing, given how close the majority of your cast is? I mean, was it kind of fun before everybody knew who you were, so to speak? So sort of those message exchanges and being able to talk to each other before you started, say, having like fans sort of sending you messages and saying, hey, we're looking forward to seeing you and things like that?
Yeah, no, it was great. I mean, hell, Joe, Haley, and Mike and I all went to Hawaii like a month after we got back from filming. We had a blast. Like, we hang out all the time. I lived in Northern California at the time, so I was right next to Haley and Shireen. We hung out all the time. Like, Mike came over to my house during Christmas, like, before any of it aired. I mean, we were all way super close before anything aired. And then all of us met up for the premiere in LA, except for Lindsay, because, you know, she's got a kid and, like, is pregnant and all that stuff. So she didn't arrive, which was a bummer because Lindsay's super cool. But, you know, we're, like, most of us are really, really close, especially the jury. Sam's a couple people plus a couple people. Like, So is super awesome. I'm so bummed she was the first one out. She was so cool. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, Haley and Sierra I'm really close with. Mike, Joe, really close with. Shireen I'm really close with.
Fantastic.
I hate Tyler. You know.
But not his wife. Yeah. We love his wife.
No, Jess is so great.
Well, it's interesting, obviously, then, because we had the second chance whole campaigning and everything. We're about to see Joe and Shireen, of course, out there. Were you at all initially contacted to possibly be on that ballot?
Not at all.
Wow.
No way.
Would you have said yes had they asked you?
Probably, because it's a paid vacation. Yeah, no, I was not contacted about it. I'm assuming because Jeff does not like my attitude towards the game, because I view it as a game and not real life. Like, most people view it as real life. Like, I was reading some of the interviews from the second chancers, like, especially the old school ones. They're like, I've been waiting 14 years for this moment. I think about it every day. I'm like, wow, that's fucking sad. Like, man, it was a game. It happened fucking, like, over 10 years ago. Get over it. Like, it's a game. Like, play Monopoly or something. You can play that a couple times. Like, I think it's ridiculous how much people are like, my regrets and this and this and this. I could have done this. And I'm like, you could have, but you didn't. It's in the past. Like, you can't change it. Just move on with your life.
Yeah.
But, you know.
So I'm guessing...
So bad for Wigglesworth, though. I forgot that she was only one vote away. And I kind of like to blame that on Greg Buis.
Yes.
Who is, hands down, my favorite contestant ever.
You need to listen to our interview with him then, Jen. We got him.
You have an interview with Buis?
We do. We got him on about 2 or 3 years ago. We tracked him down and he did an interview with us. So
no fucking way. How great was it?
Way. It was brilliant. Still to this day our most downloaded interview ever, and I don't think that will ever change. So
oh my God. I would love to hear that. I fucking loved Greg Buis.
I'll shoot you a link after this interview. But yeah, no, it was fun.
Yeah, do that.
The one thing I will say with it is that the cult of Greg and just how great he is. Sadly, he's calmed down slightly since his time, but he's still Greg. Like he, gives a great insight. And yeah, asked him about that vote with the whole number picking situation, and it's like, was that legitimately your ploy? And he was very coy on answering that question. So I still think that down at the end of the day, it all came down to a number, and as you said, Kelly lost because of Greg's number.
Yeah. I think it's fucking great.
Yeah.
Hell, I mean, when I found out he might be going on Second Chances, which is bullshit that he didn't, but whatever. I sent him a message on Facebook, and I was like, "Hey, man, just want to let you know, like, 'cause, I mean, a lot of old survivors like contact me, or like people from like 32, the like next season have like hit me up and stuff, like, hey, like, how's it going? You want to meet up? I'm like, why? I don't know who the fuck you are. Like, just because we were all on Survivor together doesn't mean that we're like friends. Half the time it means you're a fucking crazy person. So, like, a prereq for being on Survivor means you're a nut job. So I probably don't want to be your friend, actually. Like, I don't know. I mean, hell, most of them that I've met are super cool, though. I'll give them that. Like, almost everyone from Survivor, from like old seasons that have like contacted me or I've been in touch with, have been awesome. Like Jeremy, he's fucking so cool. Mm-hmm. Lex is one of the coolest guys I've ever met in my life. I got breakfast with him in Santa Cruz the other day, and I was like, holy shit, you're so cool. Like, I want to be you when I grow up, Anyway, what was I talking about? Greg Buis, yeah. So I sent him a message on Facebook, and I was like, hey, like, it's a lot of character for me, but I just want to let you know you were like my favorite Survivor ever. Like, I modeled my game after your game. And he was just like, I said that you're just my favorite contestant ever. He was like, cool. And I signed it. I was like, Jenn from season 30. And he was like, that's cool. Greg from season 1. And I was like, fuck yeah, Greg. And that was our only interaction.
Well, you spoke to him.
That's all I've ever wanted. That's all I wanted.
Yeah, that's all you needed. That's it. That's just what you have to have from Greg. Like, you would have been disappointed had he like written back like this epically long message. Like, oh, Jenn, thank you for your message. It's so inspiring. You just want him to be Greg. Like, cool.
Yeah, exactly. To be like, yeah, I don't care. That's fine. It's like, bye. Because if someone sent me a message in 15 years and was like, Jenn, like, I loved you on Survivor. You were my favorite person. Like, I wanted to play the game like you. I'd be like, okay, I don't fucking care.
I was on Survivor? What?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, homie, that's 15 years ago. No one gives a shit. Why did you watch that? Why do you remember this 15 years ago?
It's still on?
Yeah, exactly. I'd be like, whoa. God, that's great.
Wow, there you go. Fantastic. I've got some list of questions here for you, Jenn, and we'll wrap it up with our final 5. Thanks to everybody who sent in these questions. As always, a lot of these do get answered in the main part of our interview, so I'm not ignoring your question if I don't ask it. Let's go here to...
There's a little dog on a boat out here. That's so cute.
Is it actually driving the boat, or?
No, I'm at a marina, and there's like just this teeny tiny dinghy, and there's this massive fucking dog just standing on the front of it as its owner like fucking rings it in. That's great. Oh, that's so cute.
Fantastic. There you go.
You should see the view I see now. It's fucking great. Anyway,
I think you need to just take lots of pictures. We all of a sudden are quite jealous of this view. People.
I could actually probably take a picture and just upload it to Twitter right now and be like, this is where I'm doing my interview from.
Totally.
I'm going to do that.
Totally do
it's too bright in the background.
Rub it in. It in. That's all right. I've got a couple of just comments here. Dalen Miller, all I want to say is, Jenn, you're amazing. It sucks that Propes considers you a semi-quitter and that you're such a goddess. That's from Dallin. Goddess is such a word people use in the Survivor. I don't know if you've ever come across that, Jen. It's like, oh, there's such a goddess. I hate it. It annoys me.
Yeah, well, I don't get, like, they put, like, a G and then a period and then Otis. And I'm like, fucking why? like, why can't you just spell the normal-ass word? I don't mind goddess because it does make me pretty. However, I don't fucking like it when people call me mom.
Mom?
That is... on my Instagram or on my Twitter, something to like, oh my God, Mom, I love you. Mom, pay attention to me. Mom, would you pack me for lunch for school? And I'm like, who the fuck are you? I'm not even old enough to have a kid. I mean, I guess technically in the grand scheme of things I am, like I could have a child, but I don't have children. I'm 23.
Wow.
Like, stop calling me Mom. You're 17 years old.
That is,
you know?
That is strange. I've never heard of that before.
Dude, it's so weird. It's so weird.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I don't.
Stop calling
so
Jen
that's
mum, people. Like, come on, just
please
don't do it. That's it. I don't have anybody here on these questions referring to you as mum, so I will say that. Hugo Henderson, if Mike wasn't in the final three, who would you vote for out of Carolyn, Rodney, and Will?
I have no fucking clue. It's like, seriously, that's such a, whenever people ask, like, if this had happened, what would have happened? It's such a fucking, like, how am I supposed to know that, you know? Like, everything would have been completely different. Like, I can't even remember what had happened in the game, like, right now. So when people ask me that, I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't remember what went on. Like, I can't tell you what I would have done in the past because of all that I know now, especially, you know, like watching the episode, watching what people were actually doing, like all this stuff. Like, I didn't know Rodney was that strategic of a player. I didn't know he was doing all that. So, like, right now, I probably would have voted for Rodney. But during the game, like on that day, I have no fucking clue.
Simple.
Like, I don't know because I didn't know that Rodney was that good of a player during the season. So it's really, I can't answer questions when people ask me stuff like that. Like, I don't know what to say. So
that's a good point.
I'm not going to answer that.
No, that's fine. It's fine. It's a good point. Connor here, this is a good one. How good did it feel playing your idol and shocking all the blue collars?
It was one of the best feelings, especially because the first vote I saw, because, you know, I pretty much knew it was for me, but I wasn't positive. I wasn't 100%. So when I played it, like, I was like, should I play for me or Haley? And I was like, nope, I'm going to be selfish, play it for me. And so when I went up and I played it for myself, and then the first vote I saw was my best fucking friend, I was like, shit. And I looked at her, I was like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Like, I should have played it for her, you know, and I felt terrible that my friend was going home because of, like, I didn't play right, you know? But then, so I felt like shit, and then the next vote was me. And I was like, wait. And I know how he reads the votes. Like, I know how Jeff does it for suspense. So the second I saw my name, I was like, oh my God, they were going to vote me out. And then they showed my name again. And every time they showed my name, I was just laughing hysterically because I was so fucking stoked. A lot of people gave me shit for that. They're like, you're being such a bitch. Like, you're rubbing it in their face. I'm like, would you not? Like, you just did something epic. Exactly. Like, that was the first idol play of the season. I felt super cool. And I was just like, fuck you guys. This is awesome. You know? I was so stoked. I loved it.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Connor also adds, you were definitely the funniest player out there with all your comments towards other players. But after the show, do you regret saying any of them?
I do regret my little, like, my exit speech that they aired when I was like, yeah, fuck this person, Sierra sucks, this, because Sierra's like, I was with Sierra when they aired that episode, like, we all watched it together, and she saw it, and, like, I kind of saw her face be like, oh, and I was like, Sierra, sweetie, you know I love you, I didn't mean it, I was just mad. You know, like, I felt so bad, and I don't mean that against her. I don't hate Carolyn. Like, Carolyn texted me, she was like, you hate me, huh? And I was like, no, I don't hate you. Like, shit like that, you know? Like, I didn't mean, like, I don't hate these people, you know?
Now, a few here. Isaac, your question's been answered. Gabrielle, yours has. Chris, yours has. Zachary Chong just says, tell Jen she's awesome and she's one of the greatest characters in Survivor history, and I think she's an underrated player. There you go. Thank you, Zachary.
Oh, thanks, Zachary.
Let's see here. There's a few here. RB Lidgestrom, he's asked a heap, but I love a couple of these questions. I'm glad he brought this up because I wanted to bring this up to you, Jen. We absolutely loved your pre-game interview where you talked about one of your favourite players being Kate. So RB has mentioned who the fuck is Kate?
I have no fucking clue who Kate is. When I filled that out, because like they sent it. We filled it out before we went on the show, and then right before they released the cast announcements and stuff, they sent it back to us to be like, hey, update, like however you want to update it and change stuff. And I'm pretty sure that I had been at a winery event all day when I got the email, so I was like, sure, I'll respond to this. And yeah, I don't know who the fuck Kate is. I don't know what I meant, but I like that the mystery that it's caught, that like all this like controversy that it's caused. So many people ask me all the time, and I'm just like, fuck, man, I don't know who Kate is.
It's brilliant.
Like,
we ran with it. We still bring it
up.
Like,
is it Katie? Is it Kat? Is it? I don't know if it's Katie or if it's Kate or fucking like what was it? Kim? I think I might have meant Kim. I don't know. I have no idea who I was trying to say. I had no clue. Hell, I might have just put it in there for shits and giggles too. Like I don't remember.
Well, it works because
I've got a really shit memory.
We run with it. We still bring up Kate to this day. If we're talking about random players, we're like, oh, how good was Kate? Oh, well, she only won 3 times. Oh, well, no, that she's not very good, is she? So trust me, you've provided us with some comedy value over the years with that, Jen. So thank you.
I can do that for you guys.
Arby also says, I don't know if I should. I'm going to ask this question anyway. Do you prefer a pipe, bong, or blunt?
I get these questions all the time. I don't smoke weed. I don't do drugs and I just don't. Like, weed and I do not get along. Everyone thinks I'm a stoner, maybe because of the way I talk or my general attitude towards life. But believe it or not, if I encounter marijuana, I get either very angry or I hide under my covers for 6 hours because I'm scared of the world. Last time I had a marijuana encounter, it was in the form of an edible. It was in the fridge, and I didn't know that it had drugs in it because it was just a chocolate bar, and I was hungry, and I stole my roommate's food. And I was, I would deserve it for stealing my roommate's food, I guess. But, I had like a little piece of it, and like a couple hours later, I was like, oh my God, my brain's trying to escape my body. I freaked the fuck out. I was like, I thought I was a giant. I could not handle it. So I hid under my covers, and my boyfriend had to talk me down for like 4 hours.
Wow.
It was a nightmare. And then finally my roommate came home, and like all the lights were on. It was like 11 p.m. at night. She's like, the fuck is going on? And I was like, I don't know.
I ate a chocolate bar.
I was like, I'm sorry, I ate your food. Yeah, it was not a good time. Not a good time.
I like this question too because I liked your obsession pre-game with jet skis. So RB asked, did you buy a jet ski?
No, I did not buy a jet ski because that is a pretty stupid investment when you don't have a car or a place to keep it or really anything. And also, I live in the Caribbean now, and other people have jet skis, so I can just ride on theirs.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if I ever have my own slip and I live in a place and not on a boat, maybe I'll get a jet ski. But, like, right now, it'd be really, really, really dumb of me to buy a jet ski. Mm-hmm. So, no, I have not gotten a jet ski yet. However, if anyone wants to buy me a jet ski, that's fucking cool. You can do that.
Yes, please send in your jet skis to Jen Brown at the Caribbean.
Everyone, please. Promote my charity of Jen Needs a Jet Ski.
Thanks, RB. The final one here, Peter Trump sent in a couple. A few have been answered. I like this question, though. How do you feel about Monica flirting Joe's... That doesn't make sense. Flirting Joe's hinting. I'm guessing it means how do you think about the flirting between Monica and Joe pre-game between season 31? I think that's what it refers to. Sorry,
Who the fuck is Monica?
Yes, some of us ask that question. We often look at the cast.
No, seriously though, I don't know who Monica is.
She's on season 31. She was originally from Samoa, so I don't know.
Oh my God, that was like in the single-digit seasons. I don't remember that shit. I was like 10.
So obviously it doesn't bother you that they were flirting. Well, allegedly.
No, and if she was in that season, she's got to be old now. I mean, not like old, but like in her 40s. Like Joe's just touchy-feely and very nice. He's not. I doubt he's flirting with a middle-aged woman.
Plus you nearly got engaged, so
Yeah, exactly. Like, he was almost my husband. So,
not his type, Monica, perhaps.
No.
Thanks, Peter. Thanks, everyone who sent questions in, Jen. We close it up with a set of 5 quick-fire questions, just opinion-based ones. No right or wrong answer, and I'm going to love your answer for this one. What are 3 things you learnt about Jeff Probst during your time on Survivor?
Fuck, this is going to get me in so much trouble. He is way shorter in real life than I thought he was.
Mm-hmm.
He swears a lot. I didn't see that one coming. And he called me Lindsay like 8 times in the first like 5 days of filming.
Right.
And that started off our relationship on that foot. So, and I was like, my name's Jenn. He was like, fuck, I'm sorry, Jenn. And I was like, yeah, you should know who I am. There's only 18 of us.
What did he call Lindsay?
Yeah.
Did he call Lindsay Jenn?
I have no clue. I was never around Lindsay. I honestly, I never met Lindsay until the finale.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Fascinating.
But
there we go.
Yeah.
Question number 2, Jen. What was your favourite...
Dick.
What's your...
Motherfucker, you start the interview late, then you call me Lindsay. I swear to God.
You're about to hang up on me. You're going to be the first to ever do
that.
that.
Yeah, actually, I came pretty close. Plus, I have to pee pretty bad, too, so it's like...
All right, we'll get these out of here. I want you to go back to your idyllic island life. So...
yeah, also, it's happy hour at the watering hole next door. That's not what I called it. I'm not a nerd. It's actually called the watering hole.
All right, I reckon I can ask these questions in 3 minutes then, Jen. How does that sound?
Okay.
What's your favourite and least favourite season of Survivor?
My favorite season is Borneo because Greg Buis, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
That, and I don't really remember Survivor seasons very well, so that seems like a safe answer. Least favorite season was probably my own.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good answer.
That or San Juan del Sur. That shit was boring as fuck.
Okay. Go with San Juan del Sur. Sure.
Or maybe my season. I don't know. I didn't even see all of my season. That, and I already knew what was going to happen, you know? It's like every episode, it's like, oh, I already know what's going to happen, so there's no suspense.
Good point.
Probably my season, yeah.
Good point. Question number 3. Who to you is the sexiest ever contestant?
Ooh, oh no. Sexiest ever contestant. Boy or girl?
You can give me both.
Ooh. Huh. Oh God, this is really hard. I don't know if Angie I would consider the sexiest, but I always remember her blue bathing suit. Like, that always sticks out so hard in my mind because it was so fucking cute and made her tits look awesome. Haley's also pretty fucking sexy. Like, in person, she looks like Brooke Shields. Like, when I saw her, I was like, fuck, I hope she's not on my tribe because she is way too hot. And male... Are we going like what I think now or what I thought at the time?
Again, you can give me both if you like, or... it's a very open-ended question, I like to say.
Yeah. I don't know. Who's the sexiest male? Yeah, I'm not going to answer the sexiest male because that might get me in trouble too.
Okay. Ozzy's crying right now. Question number...
Ozzy doesn't give a fuck about me, man. I was at Jelena and I like walked up because he works there and... I walked in and like did something and I was with Max and obviously Max was like, oh my God, it's Ozzy, I'm a Survivor nerd. And I was like, oh my God, no one gives a fuck. And he walks up and Max was like, hey man, how's it going? Like fucking Ozzy was gonna know who the fuck Max was. And Ozzy was like, hi. And then just like walked away. It was awesome.
Wow, there you go. Question number 4, who to you is the greatest player never to have won?
No. Man, I don't remember shit like this.
Kate? Please say Kate.
Probably Kate.
Yeah.
Probably Kate. I'm going to go with Kate. Because,
so.
She played like 3 times, and she was number 2 every single time. No, she wasn't even number 2. She was the person that didn't make the final tribal council, because those are usually the best ones, you know?
Yep.
The ones that they're like, fuck you, I'm not bringing you with me.
Kate is the new Lex.
Kate, yeah. Kate, oh, fuck Lex. Lex should have won. Lex is so great.
Question number 5, this is going to be a fun answer. Who's your least favourite winner, Jen?
Russell Hantz never won, did he?
No, he did not.
Good.
He likes to think he did, but he didn't.
Little troll man. What? Fuck. Who wins? I'm just trying to think of winners now. Shit. I'm so bad at this. Like, I never remember who wins seasons, like, ever. Once it's done, I'm like, well, someone won at least. The worst winner, probably myself.
Yourself?
Yeah, I won a couple challenges, and I didn't win the game, even though I should have, so it makes me the worst. Fuck, who else won seasons? Let me think of people. Who's the worst winner? I mean, if they won, they obviously did something right. I think Woo bringing Tony to the final was the funniest fucking thing. I didn't even see the season, but I know about it, and I know that that's fucking hilarious because, like, how dumb do you have to be, like, to bring Tony to the end? He's obviously going to win. If Cass wins next season, I'm going to say Cass.
Okay. So foreshadowing the worst.
Yeah, foreshadowing. Fuck. I don't know. Who wins?
I'll take your answer as Cass if you like. You can just say Kate again. I mean, you know, that's...
Yeah, I'm going to go with Kate. Let me go with Kate.
Yes.
Stick with Kate.
She's just covering all the bases here. Final question for you today. Jen Brad, please answer Kate for this one if you feel the need to. Who to you was the greatest ever contestant and why?
The greatest ever contestant. Again, Kate.
Yep.
You know, she showed so much enthusiasm. She wanted to be there every time. She knew what to do. Like, in every strategic situation, she should have won. She did win, and she fucking deserved everything that she got.
Exactly. Oh, just so good, so good. Jen, I'm going to let you go drink at the watering hole and pee. Never thought I'd end an interview saying that, but I just did.
Well, I have to pee, man. I've drank like 3 cups of tea here.
Thank you very much for your time. This has been a lot of fun, and have a great time in the Caribbean working, and we no doubt paths might cross again in the future, and we can get your thoughts on all things Survivor if you remember you're on the show one day in the future.
Probably won't, but, you know, if you need to ask me about, like, you know, sailing or, like, cheese or some shit, I'll sure as hell come on the podcast.
I'm down for that. The cheese episode, we'll organise it. Simple.
Cool.
There we have it. Jen Brown, very, very entertaining, and always fun to have chats like that, and we obviously appreciate Jen's time and coming on the show and giving us her take on Season 30 and all things to do with Survivor. We also, of course, have a couple other Season 30 interviews on our website, our Dan that was mentioned, of course, in the interview there with Jen, as well as our Carolyn interview. We do have a couple lined up as well at the time of recording this, Tyler and Nina, hopefully in a couple of days, and a few others in the lead up, and we're still trying to get these interviews out there, and as we lead into Season 31, of course, a few returning guests to come on and chat about Survivor. SurvivorOz.com is the website. Subscribe to us on iTunes, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. You know the drill, and as always, we do appreciate your support, and thank you for being with us here on Survivor Oz. It does mean a lot to us that you're still on board. My name is Ben, the Tribe has spoken. We'll speak to you next time on The Trains.